You're listening to Civic Media. You can tune into any of our live shows on any radio station across the state with the Civic Media app. Find us in your phone's app store and listen anytime, anywhere.
Coming to Northeast Wisconsin live from the Civic Media Studios, this is Mino and the Mayor.
Begin the day with a friendly voice, a companion unobtrusive.
And here are your hosts, John Mino and Jim Schmidt.
Hey, thank you very much. Welcome back on a foggy Thursday morning here in downtown Green Bay, Appleton, Oshkosh, and Owl Point, Manitowoc. Every place really foggy out there. Please be very careful.
You actually had something happen to you this morning that just let people know issues with cellcom service.
Yeah.
All the phones are down. That's why you could not call me this morning, and I just got notification on that from another source.
So cellcom is down, so it's not my phone.
It's not your phone.
So it's not from not paying the bill.
No.
Okay.
No.
And more,
Okay.
it's not you, John. That's
All right.
That's what we want to
That I got hacked or something.
Yeah.
All right.
What does that mean to get hacked?
I have no idea.
When somebody breaks in and they take all your information.
I'm from Negaunee. I don't know.
No, that's going to be a tough day on Cellcom.
Holy cow, I guess. Well, we've got a very special guest. Jeff, are you there, buddy?
I'm here.
Jeff Olson, live from Ishpeming.
Yep.
Okay,
All
buddy.
right.
Hey, Jeff Olson, I'm going to give a little background. Jeff is a legendary high school football and basketball coach. Three state championships. I think 3 runners up. Just unbelievable what he did with the Ishpeming Hematites. And had a son who was just an amazing athlete. In fact, my brother-in-law was his coach at St. Norbert. And, Jeff, I'm just going to let you take it from there in regards to what got you here today, what you're doing right now, and what you've pretty much devoted the rest of your life to. So, Coach Jeff Olson from Ishpeming, Michigan. Jeff, go ahead and take it away in regards to the Do It for Daniel program, buddy.
Sure. I've been coaching I'm retired now, but coached for 37 years, 27 at Ishpeming. Had some good teams. My son Daniel grew up in our program, bringing him to practice as a kindergartner. Really a great athlete. I always say this, pretty much an all-American kid. Tons of friends, girlfriends. Good at pretty much everything he did. He was an all-state quarterback he was only 5'8", 165 pounds, but he still was an all-state quarterback in basketball. He was conference defensive player of the year.
Hey, Jeff, if I could just interject. Every athlete in the UP is 5'8", 160 pounds. Let's be honest.
You're not kidding there. You're not kidding there. So, yeah. And, he led us to the state championship game in 2010. I believe that was his senior year. And his big dream it was never about him. He just wanted to win. He wanted me to win a state championship. But he struggled with anxiety and depression, and he actually wrote a paper when he was a senior in high school that he thought he started to feel different in 6th grade. And actually, my wife and I noticed some things were off in 6th grade, but he did what so many people do. He fought it on his own in silence for 5 years until the spring of his junior year in high school, and that's the first time he came to us, asked for help. He was suicidal at the time. Come to find out later on that 2 years before that, as a freshman, he was extremely close to taking his life. Had it all planned out, had everything set up. The only reason he didn't do it was Grandma was in the other room. But anyways, he came to us, asked for help as a junior in high school, fought it for 3 more years, had a couple suicide attempts in between there. We got him help, but there's such a huge stigma involved with anxiety and depression that people are going to think you're crazy or you're weak. You can't handle everyday life, or just suck it up, and or maybe you're faking something, and it's farther from the truth. So with all that stigma involved, and you're talking probably when he was getting help, 2008, 2009, 2010. The help didn't make sense to him. It wasn't a quick fix. So he didn't do everything he was supposed to do, as far as taking his medications, as far as therapy. Therapy didn't make sense to him. Like I said, it wasn't a quick fix. So anyways, fast forward to his senior year, got us to the state championship game. We lost that game. He ended up going to St. Norbert to play college football, thinking he might, a change of venue, change of scenery might help him. It didn't. He was having multiple panic attacks a day. He ended up having to drop out of school after middle of his second year there, and came home. Got a job, but ultimately the anxiety and depression was too much for him, and he ended up taking his life at 1 month before his 20th birthday. And obviously tough on us, tough on our family. But I felt the need, and my wife and I felt the need to speak up and not hide this. And we decided 2 days after he passed away at the funeral home, trying to write his obituary, that we were going to put this out in the open, talk about it, and in hopes of educating people so they didn't have to go through what my son Daniel went through, so loved ones, parents, family members don't have to go through what our family went through. So what happened was, when Daniel played in the state championship game, it was down in Detroit. Somebody on the video that was filming the game for Fox Sports remembered that game, was captivated by the story in 2012, because we went down in 2012. That actually, Daniel took his life. He was going to, when he gave up St. Norbert football, he was going to be an assistant coach with us. He actually worked with the kids, and then 2 weeks or a week and a half before the season started, that's when he took his life. So it was kind of a dedication. The team dedicated the season to Daniel, to us, our family. We had a good team, not a great team, but we ended up kind of overachieving, went down, won the state championship that year. Kind of, like I said earlier, that was kind of Daniel's dream for me to win one. One guy that was filming on the video camera was captivated by the story. His daughter was suffering at the time, so him and his wife had never done it before, but they wanted to make a documentary about Daniel's life. They came up, talked to us about it. My wife wasn't on board at the time, but they came up, kind of convinced us, kind of convinced her. So, number one reason, she didn't want her son out there for people to judge. And when we kind of put all our trust in them, they made a documentary, Daniel's life. And so when we had that documentary, he also made a Facebook page, Do It for Daniel Facebook page. People started calling schools, mainly communities, to see if I would go speak and talk about suicide prevention, mental health, anxiety and depression. So 7 years ago, I decided to do that, and I've been doing that ever since. Been to many schools around the Midwest, and sharing Daniel's story, but also speaking along with it to try to educate people about what this is, what it feels like to have it, what the symptoms are, because, when I've been traveling and you talk to people who are struggling, and even now, it's hard for them to put into words because it's mental, it's mental pain, and it's hard for them to put into words. So we want to give people words to say, to come forward, confidence to come forward, to show that this is a very common illness. It's treatable, and there's no shame in coming forward. So that's where we are.
Man, I really feel bad for you. I don't know what to say, 19-year-old. It sounds to me, though, a couple things you said, it sounds like you did a lot. I mean, you did a lot. I think sometimes people are like, I wish I would have done something.
Get over it. Whatever.
All right, or
you
just,
didn't. You guys had that empathy.
So I want you to just talk about that a little bit. And then you mentioned that in 6th grade you saw signs. Like, what were those signs?
Well, irritable, couldn't handle things that were going wrong with him, just not being him. One of the symptoms is you're just not yourself, and that's hard for people to understand. So there was some things that he couldn't handle, and he would just get really upset or really withdrawn. Also, so those are the types of things. Well, what's going on? He wouldn't talk. He's not his normal outgoing self at times. So, we were wondering, well, what's going on? And then all of a sudden, it seemed like he'd be back to himself, and then it would just kind of be the ups and downs, and really came to a head his freshman year in high school, and then he came forward in his junior year. So that's the big thing. When you talk about mental illness, or I don't like the term because that's where the stigma is really attached to it. It's a medical illness of the brain. And there's actual physical things that are happening in your brain. Connections are off. Thoughts aren't getting to the part of your brain where they need to. There's deficiencies in your brain. So we really need to call it what it is. It's a medical illness of the brain. And the hard part about this, and everybody's is different, and the brain is so volatile. There's so many things involved that, when I go around and speak, every once in a while you'll get somebody, because the message is this is treatable, and it is treatable. And they're saying, well, you did everything. How come it wasn't treatable for Daniel? And, there's a couple things involved. Well, Daniel didn't do everything he was supposed to because it didn't make sense to him. The stigma was there. So he didn't do therapy very well. He was supposed to do some homework, and he didn't do it. Some of the medications, sometimes the medications don't work because there's so many medications out there. Everybody's is different.
Right.
So, our message is, if you get put on a medication after 2 or 3 weeks, you're not feeling better or the same, you got to go back and say, I don't think this is working. This is the way I'm feeling. Because you would with any other illness. And I always use the analogy of my knee. I hurt my knee jogging. I went and they manipulated, said, oh, you have a slightly torn meniscus. Give it 2 or 3 weeks. And I gave it a month, went back to the doctor, could describe the pain. He gave me a cortisone shot. A month later, I went back because I still had pain. He did minor surgery, cleaned it up. Was supposed to be taken care of. I went back again. I knew I wasn't going to get judged. I could describe where the pain was, what I could do, what I couldn't do. Went back, another cortisone shot. Month and a half later, went back again. Was able to describe it, knew I wasn't going to get judged. They did a partial knee replacement, and I'm pain-free. And my point is, I kept going back because I knew I could describe where the pain was. I knew I could. I knew I wasn't going to get judged. I knew this was real.
Yeah.
When you have a medical illness of the brain, that's hard to do.
Right.
We're with
Going back.
We're with Jeff Olson, unbelievably successful high school football coach who walked away from that to spread a message that is so important. And it is Mental Health Month, and we've been talking about that a bunch, but we really need to also concentrate on the young people. Because our era, let's be honest, Jeff, the UP, our dads or whoever, get over it. What the hell's wrong with you?
Yep.
Get over it. What do you got to complain about? Jeff, stick around. We're going to send her a 1-minute break. Back with more. Jeff Olson, Do It for Daniel program. Folks, please look this up. Look it up. We'll be back with more with Coach Olson right after this.
You're listening to Civic Media. Stay up to date on the latest news and information for your local community and Wisconsin by signing up for our free email newsletter. Visit civicmedia.us/email to get started.
Road again, going places that I've never been.
Hey, welcome back. Mino the Mayor here on a Thursday morning. Green Bay, Alton, and Oshkosh. We're with Jeff Olson, legendary coach from Ishpeming, Michigan, who's devoting his life right now to talk to young people about mental health. His son Daniel is an unbelievable athlete, unbelievable student, everything you would ask for, and the mental illness, as you mentioned, it's an illness. It's not a condition. It's an actual illness.
Absolutely.
Took his life. Jeff is devoting his life to try to help others where this doesn't happen, anxiety, all the different things. And again, you talk about kids that are, oh, this poor kid in school, he didn't have many friends, or he's bullied, or what, yada. This was the All-American boy. This was the All-American boy. And if that can affect somebody like that, so Jeff, it's awesome what you do, and people need to see the video. Do it for Daniel. Jim's got about 20. We only got like 7 minutes left, and Jim's got 162 questions for you. So just start with the basics. Go ahead.
You talked about the documentary, and are you pleased with it? Does it get the message out you wanted to? And how can people look at that? Tell me your, firsthand experience.
Yeah. Well, I love the documentary, and people have to understand this wasn't made. This was Daniel's story. It wasn't made as an educational tool. So that's why I speak when I show it, and kind of explain some things and try to get people to understand what this is, what it feels like to have it, what you can do. Then you show the documentary, and it gets people captivated. But it's a long presentation. So what we've done, too, is there's 2 ways I can do it. I can speak, show the documentary, speak again after that, and that's an hour and 40 minutes long. Or I've made 14 minutes of clips of the documentary so I can speak and show 14 minutes of clips. And that's a 50-minute long documentary. But the great thing about this documentary for us, for me, is we get to see Daniel's face. We get to people are talking about him, and it's he's not here, but at least we can see him. People are talking about him, and that's healing. And this is kind of me doing this is kind of therapeutic for me. It doesn't have anything to do with how strong you are. This is kind of my therapy, being able to help people, get people to understand through Daniel, because one of the things Daniel said in confidence to his girlfriend is no matter what he did, no matter what he would say, nobody's ever going to be able to understand what he's going through. So I feel like I'm Daniel's voice to get people to understand what he couldn't, and that's that this is a very common medical illness that's very treatable.
Yeah, awesome. And I want to just talk about that for a second, too. You said the stigma of it, and do you think that's getting better, you getting out there and talking? And I think this is talked about a little bit more, maybe not enough, but are kids getting more comfortable going and talking to people? Because Johnny and I talk about this all the time. Physical health, you're in the doctor right away. Yeah. Mental health, you just stay at home. It's like, well, why don't you go see a doctor? They're out there, and your insurance will probably cover it too. So it's, but so I want you to comment on how you can get a kid to go see somebody, and then the other thing is that you said he didn't really do his homework. Tell me how we can help people do their homework, I guess.
Well, it's the key word for me is understanding. People have to understand, and not just the person struggling, but the people around them, what this is, what it feels like to have it, so they can come forward and say, you know what, I don't feel like myself anymore. Well, what does that mean? Well, I can't laugh anymore. You guys are cracking jokes. I know it's supposed to be funny. I can't feel that. Or I'm sad all the time. Well, how can you be sad all the time? You have this going on, that going on. You're a 4-point student, best athlete in the county. You can build a engine with your bare hands. How can you be sad? I don't know. Or I have these negative thoughts I can't get out of my head, or I have this constant doom and gloom attitude that bad things are going to happen to me and my family. Common response, snap out of it. Well, you can't snap out of a medical illness, and if the connections are off in your brain, you can't snap out of that. So, and I'm worthless, and you could be very successful, but you still feel worthless. Those are all symptoms.
Sure.
So we want to give people the words to say, but we also want to give them the confidence to come forward, and know that they're not going to be judged, know that when they say that, people are going to take them serious and that it's real. And in response to your initial question, it is getting better, but I say this, it's moving at a snail's pace. And
do you have
coming forward. Go ahead.
If we don't get a chance to see you, do you have a website that you're comfortable with, or do you have? Yep. I just think parents, nobody knows their kid better than their parents. And if they're seeing these signs and
you want to help, but sometimes we don't know how.
Where do you go? Where do they go get some information or support group?
Well, we have we have doitfordaniel.com page, that talks about our mission, shows a trailer of our documentary. But if you go to the doitfordaniel.com page, read the testimonials and kind of see what other people are saying about the presentation. It's how it's helped them. We also have a Do It for Daniel Facebook page, and a lot of people, that's how I get to go where I'm going to present, because people message that page, and then they get the information to me. I call them and go. So there's a lot of information posted on the Do It for Daniel Facebook page, and then to see our mission, it's a doitfordaniel.com page.
Do you come to Green Bay area at all, or Appleton at all, Coach?
Yeah,
Okay.
Yep. I've been there. I've been into Pier. I was at the theater there. I did a community presentation. So I go all over.
Outstanding. Hey, Jeff, this is awesome. It's heartbreaking and awe-inspiring at the same time. And it really truly is. That. And it would have been so much easier for you to just say, horrible tragedy, I'm just going to move on, yada, yada, yada. Instead, you were devoting your life right now to trying to prevent people from being in the situation that you and your family, find yourself in or found yourself in. You're saving lives by doing this. And I'm not trying to be melodramatic, but you're saving lives, Jeff. There's not a question about that.
Yeah, thank you. I appreciate that.
Well, thank you so much, Jeff.
Keep up the good work.
Yeah,
man.
I
That's
guarantee
awesome
you're going to have people around here contacting you. And if you ever come down this area, please give me a call. Give us a call. We'd love to have you into the studio or have a cold beverage with you sometime.
That'd be perfect.
All right, my friend. Jeff Olson, Ish Spring, Michigan. Do It for Daniel. Please check it out, people. Very, very important thing. Jeff, thanks so much for taking the time, my friend.
Yeah, thanks for having me, guys.
You got it, buddy. Take care. See you. We're going to set a quick break. Ben and Dan and Malcor, moving at the Malcors, coming up next.
If you missed part of the show or want to share it with a friend to catch every episode of Mino and the Mayor on your schedule, listen now at civicmedia.us or find us on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, or wherever you get your podcasts. It's easy to take Mino and the Mayor wherever you go. Now, back to Mino and the Mayor. Here's John Mino and Jim Schmidt.
Hey, thank you very much. Wow, special thanks to Jeff Olson. Yep. Do It for Daniel, folks. If you're a school administrator or a coach or teacher or any level of whatever, a parent, look it up. Look up Do It for Daniel, because this is such an important thing with young people with mental health. And like he said, I thought, Jeff cut right to the chase. You could have a physical problem like he had with his knee, and you realize, well, what they're doing isn't working. We need something else. And you got to look at mental illness as an illness, as an actual illness.
Yeah.
Not just get over it type thing. You can't, he said it's the same as like when he tore a thing in his knee, saying, get over it. It'll heal by itself. You can't.
Yeah.
And at this young age,
I know.
16, 17-year-olds.
And he was saying that, if the kid gets some, medication, well, this will make you feel better. Well, he's not feeling better. He's got to say something. This isn't working. Whereas, you would, if your knee wasn't feeling better, you go back to the doctor and say, hey, it still hurts.
Well, you'd be able to see it, too.
Right.
You can see people.
Exactly.
Mental health illnesses, you
Invisible.
can't see.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And I mean, All-American kid, 4.0 student.
Yeah.
I don't forget what he was going after at St. Norbert. Good-looking kid, amazing athlete. And, you say, well, that he'll never have a problem.
Yeah.
Right.
You have no idea what's going on in there. Yeah.
No idea.
My mom she's always been a mental health nurse. She's retired
no
now.
kidding.
But so, we've heard, kind of, it's always been on the forefront of conversations in our house. Yeah.
And it should be. Just make that conversation, if nothing else.
Yeah. Knowing that, everything doesn't have to be okay all the time. And it's okay to tell people when it's not.
Absolutely.
I think we're talking, and we're like we're pretty open about that in our house, around our table, and people get to see the counselors. But I just my daughter was very stressed out in New York. She goes, I said, how are you doing? Oh my God, Dad, this is a terrible week. I just see my therapist twice.
Yeah.
I'm like, okay, I don't need to hear that. But the fact
as
that
a dad,
it's like, okay, wow, come on.
They might be bringing up some old family
I know,
trauma.
right? I'm sure my name's been mentioned on the couch. Yeah.
Well, I know it is to my therapist. Trust me.
As long as we're sharing.
He wants to know.
I know.
I just think it's good that people talk about it in the open. Like they talk
You're
about going to
right.
the doctor.
Got
You
to.
can talk about it. And It's like, what
Yeah.
did she say? And we have some fun conversations around that. But anyway, yes, the guy lost a son over this. Which,
Yeah,
it
it's
didn't get
awful.
much
And we're
worse than
talking
that.
about another one, a local athlete that we
Remember
both
that
knew.
Ken Games kid?
Yeah.
Here in town. I
Preble.
mean, it's
Yeah.
you don't have to be 40 years old to have that issue.
No.
And I wonder if it's even getting worse these days with social media and all the different things. we have.
Unquestionably.
Yeah.
Unquestionably.
Well, absolutely, because you see people's lives and how you think that they are. I mean, I think
Absolutely.
it goes across the board no matter what age you are. But when you're young and you haven't experienced life and you haven't felt those up and downs and knowing that you can make it through, you're not going with that knowledge base that,
Right.
you can get through this. And you're seeing everybody in these perfect lives that they have. And in reality, they're usually not. They're just
And you're
showing
judging
you.
yourself
Yep.
against that.
I know, which is totally unfair.
Completely 100%.
Yeah, I know.
Stay
Tough
off
stuff.
Facebook.
Yeah.
Ah.
Well, what's going on in the biz? I mean, things are hopping. I still follow it. I still
Yeah,
like the
yeah.
business. I mean, and it's like, ooh, wow.
Yeah. It's getting crazy. Buyers and sellers, they're coming out. So we've actually got a home listing today. Hopefully around noon, everybody will see it. But it's right behind Bayport.
Bayport.
Yeah.
Oh,
so
yep.
Moose
Wow.
Creek
Yep.
Estates, I
Just
think.
off
It's-
of Moose Creek Trail.
Yeah, so it's kind of a neighborhood where things don't turn over very much.
Extremely
it's a
popular area.
Yeah,
Cool.
beautiful home. 2-story, 3-bedroom, just gorgeous house. That's gonna be listing today.
Awesome.
So
Wow, that's
yeah.
exciting.
Yeah.
We got a
yeah.
home that hit just off of Humboldt, 10 acres, private pond.
Wow.
Yeah.
Right in the city.
I was going to
I
say
know.
that's
Yeah.
a lot of elbow room for the city.
Yeah. It's
yeah.
pretty great.
It is, but you don't find that very often.
No.
So it's
No.
that one's a little deceiving for people who drive by it on Humboldt because it's behind. So you'll see Ben's sign, and then you have to go down that driveway.
It's a private driveway.
So it's a private driveway, and it's right between two homes, and you can't see the home that's for sale
Wow.
off this.
It's kind of nice.
Yeah,
Yeah.
so you kind of have to,
That
Yeah.
sounds fantastic.
Panfish in the pond.
yeah.
Nice.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
I know.
Within the
Pretty
city
awesome.
limits.
Within the city
Can
limits.
you believe it?
Yeah.
Thank God he's
Got
not
it
Mary
all.
Moore. He'd do something. It's like
Development. Are you kidding me? We could fit 10
Fill
more
in
houses.
the pie. Fill in the
Actually,
pie.
40 more houses on that land.
Yeah.
Quarter-acre lots. Let's do it.
Yeah. His brother lives in that same area, so I'm not sure that would go over very well with the family.
Yeah, that's right.
That's awesome. Tell me again about the Bayport one.
That one is hitting today. It's I think it's 6. It's just over 600. I can't think of.
Yeah.
I can't think of
So
what
it'll be
we
listed
landed.
today? It's not listed yet?
It's going to be listed. It's all put in. We're ready. We're getting ready for approval this morning. So it usually hits around.
So every
noon.
realtor in a 100-mile radius is going to see that pop up in the MLS, and they're going to make a call.
Yeah, we hope so.
Wow.
We
That's
hope
exciting,
so.
man.
And we'll have an open house there this weekend as well.
Then we got one coming up on St. Mary's Boulevard.
Yeah,
too,
in Alloway.
In Alloway.
on Monday.
That's
Yeah.
like
Nice.
my favorite street.
That's a good
That
street.
is-
St. Francis, St. Mary's. Those are
beautiful.
good streets.
Yeah.
I
they
always
are.
think I lived in Alloway. Why didn't I live across Webster?
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
those don't come up for sale very often
No.
either.
No, and there's something about those boulevards.
Yes.
They're just
Yeah.
gorgeous.
Love them.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Impeccable home.
Yeah.
And they've always been.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I was just going to say that. Quick
That's where all the
story.
Packer coaches used to live.
Yes, that's a beautiful
Yeah.
neighborhood.
Yeah.
I just want to tell you a quick story. When we got married 35 years ago, we were looking for houses, and he's dead now, the realtor, but he took us over there.
Sure.
And I was going to start a business, and you can't have a really nice house and start a business. There's just not that kind of money. And he's taking me through that place on St. Mary's. He's like, oh, no, Jim, you deserve this. I grabbed him by the shoulders. I said, you show me something half this price. And he did. I bought a house half the price.
Yeah.
And then I started a business. But those are beautiful homes.
They're
over there.
beautiful.
They're so well maintained.
Well, that's what I mean.
Yeah.
They keep up their
Belt-
value,
Yeah.
don't they?
And
Yeah.
the boulevard's well maintained. I
Yeah.
mean, Alloway does a good job of
It's just
keeping that
beautiful.
neighborhood looking good.
Yeah.
So,
They
And
do.
it's one of those neighborhoods where every house looks different.
Yeah.
You've got just
Right.
a
They all
blend
got some nice
of everything.
style.
yeah, they do.
Yeah.
Well, that's
so-
cool. That'd be good. That'd be a fun one.
Yeah, yeah.
I love that.
I think that
neighborhood.
one will go fast too.
Yes.
So that hits Monday, and that I
Yeah.
think is right around
$4.99.
Yeah.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
know what you mean. That there was like really cool craftsmanship and the design
Right.
and everything. Like,
Oh,
when we were
yeah.
going we were going to the Packer draft. We took the bus and we were going through some neighborhoods. I even told my son Dom, I said, "Boy, can you tell when these were all built in about 1966 or 67?
Yeah.
Cookie
Everyone,
cutter.
Yeah.
same builder,
Yep.
and it's like
Yeah.
you must use the same design to save money or whatever."
Yeah.
I mean,
know.
nice, but versus
Yeah.
those kind of neighborhoods
Yeah.
where everybody was a little bit different.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yep. And
Yeah.
it's just everybody together and everybody maintains. Those
Right.
streets are so beautiful.
Yeah.
I mean, Moose Creek Estates is like that
Yeah.
too. Every house.
Not a lot of rentals out there.
No.
I mean, those are owner-occupied homes
Yeah.
with families.
Yep.
With
Yep.
Yep.
It's just you can just feel it when you're there.
Yeah.
I've always liked that neighborhood. I mean, I'm happy where I am, but that's
Me too.
Yeah.
Just a stone's throw from the Fox River Trail.
Right. Oh yeah.
I don't even know
quiet.
which house we're talking about. Now that you said,
we're
you
talking
said
about
now
St.
you're talking
Mary's.
Yeah,
Sorry.
we're talking Alloway.
Anyway, that's
Yeah.
all right.
We got two good ones coming up.
Right.
Yeah.
So when you look at Green Bay, it seems like there's still a lot of building going on.
Yeah.
A lot.
There is.
And I just hope we don't overbuild, but nobody seems to feel that.
Yeah.
I feel the same way.
But every time you drive Alloway, De Pere's building stuff. Obviously, Green Bay has a couple projects going on, and I'm just hopeful that frees up these smaller starter homes for you guys, or I should say you guys for the first time buyers, because we lack that.
Yeah. Well, I think what you're seeing so much of, which is good, is we've got a lot of kind of upper end rentals, apartments going up, which is nice, and I think that we've got some low income housing that's kind of opened up as well. And we've got condos that are coming. And I think that with the generation that is, retiring, and the baby boomers, trying to get to their winter place, through the winter, and then they still want a summer home here. Those rentals and those condos are amazing for them. And so I think they're filling a void for sure that I think our area was a little slow on.
That's funny you say that, because we talk about that. I mean, our next move will be to a condo, right? A 3-bedroom. And Donna just said to me later, she goes, somebody called and they want to buy our house. I'm like, okay. She goes, when they call back, you need to talk to them. I'm like, what? I don't want to move. But anyway.
Somebody's more ready than you are.
Yes.
And are those legit calls?
That they'll buy your house?
Or when you get a postcard in the mail. Are those
John,
legit?
I think this was a friend. This
Sure.
was a cold call.
Yeah.
This was a cold call.
You know what? Those are legit.
Okay.
But you're not going to get what you could get if you put your home on the market.
Right.
They're easy. They're going to be a cash, no inspection. They want your home to flip it.
Because I had a guy one time at a beautiful house out in Lost Dauphin. Okay, and I did get the listing and everything.
Sure.
And he told me, he goes, I got to be honest, I'm not going to pay a full commission. I'm like, well, okay. I mean, I go, could you just ask why? Which is fine to get his business, whatever. He goes, because I got 3 or 4 other people. I got letters from them. They want, if I ever put the house on the market, they want it. And I looked at him. It's like, you could tell everyone was a scam type of thing.
Absolutely.
And I'm like, I got to explain this to you. They don't really. And it's like, if they want to buy it, then let's list it. And you know what?
Have them come.
Come on.
Yeah.
Come
Bring
to the
your
open
buyers.
house.
Yeah.
But sometimes people see those kind of letters and postcards or phone calls.
Yeah.
And I mean, yours is legit. But I've always wondered how much of that was,
Yeah, well, I'm sure that there's some scams out there, and for the right price, anyone will buy it.
Right.
But you're not going to get what you should be getting for your home.
Exactly.
Yeah.
We were talking.
And ironically, none of those people came to the showings.
So you just listed them and then went to full commission on
Exactly.
everybody else.
Yeah.
That's what I'd have done too.
We get that a lot too when you're talking to people, sellers especially, who they're talking to a bunch of agents, which they really should interview,
Absolutely.
a handful. But there's always agents that come with buyers in their pocket, supposedly, and we're
Air quotes.
and we're like, that's fantastic.
Perfect
when it hits,
Yeah.
have them bring their buyers.
Yeah.
They'll
And
get enough-
ironically, then you never see them.
Yeah,
Exactly.
I know.
Same thing I said with those letters. I even showed you. Have you heard from any of them lately?
Yeah.
'Cause I haven't.
I know.
Yeah.
Well, we all got to get business some way,
Yeah,
right? Some of us
exactly.
just do it more on the up and up.
Right.
Yeah.
Yep. Exactly.
Yeah.
So the biz right now, heading into the hottest part of the season in a lot of ways. Schools are going to be ending and yada yada yada.
Yeah.
Tell me what it's like right now in the world of real estate in this area.
Hot.
Yeah.
Good.
Yeah. I mean, honestly, a lot of buyers are coming out, which, they're the ones who fuel the market.
Right.
It's
Well, we had talked. I think, weather plays such a big part of not only just people wanting to be out and about, but how they feel. They can finally take off that coat, that blanket, get away from their fireplace,
Absolutely.
and head out and see some
get
homes.
away from their fireplace.
Because it's been so cold.
It's so cold.
Well, another thing though too with people as far as with the houses just look better now.
Right?
Do you know what I'm
The
saying?
grass is
I was kind of.
green.
Remember, I told you I was looking for a little fixer upper around here,
Yeah.
and I drove
Yep.
past one over off Ashland. Remember?
Right, yeah.
And it's like, the driveway wasn't shoveled and the
Yeah.
thing was full of, and it's like, I don't want to see it. You know
I
what I mean?
know.
It just,
I
you just
know.
kind of, it just looked.
I know.
Yeah.
There's something about that green grass and
Yeah.
flowers coming up that just you can't do that in the winter for
Exactly.
sure. So you just have to imagine it.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah.
When you first came on here, I was talking about the cost of a home, and you got the home, you got the interest, right? But there's just those other factors that
Yeah.
seem to be not escalating, but they're going up faster than normal inflation, and that's this insurance, and this roof insurance, and I just hope people are really aware, because the last thing you want to do is get in there and not be able to afford it. Then you're
Right.
married to your house, you can't go do anything. It's so
become house poor.
right.
Yeah.
And that's a real thing.
Oh,
And
it
it's
is a real thing.
thing
Yeah.
because people look at a mortgage. I can handle that.
Exactly.
I have no idea how many other things come
Yeah.
into play.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I know. It's tough too. And I think that happens, especially with first time home buyers. They
Right.
don't understand all the additional costs that are going to come,
to it.
with that home. So we talk about it all the time, is don't go at your top
Well, that's
dollar.
good you're giving them that advice, because you don't want them to be house rich
No.
and cash
And I give you
poor.
credit
That's no
because I know a
fun.
lot of realtors that wouldn't.
Yeah.
They'd be like, oh, you can afford this mortgage.
Yeah.
You did the pre-appraisal. You're good to go.
Yeah.
Get in there.
Yeah.
You deserve this.
Yeah, we want them to come back.
Ben and Deanna Malcor, moving with the Malcors. We'll be back with them in 1 minute.
Father wears his Sunday best. Mother's tired, she needs a rest. The kids are playing up downstairs. Sister's sighing in her sleep.
You're listening to Civic Media. Find the latest news, information, and archives of all your favorite shows on the Civic Media website, civicmedia.us.
Hey, welcome back. Mano the Mayor here Thursday morning. The fog is lifting. There were some issues with Cellcom, as we were talking about. They were down or something. Like I came in, I couldn't get a hold of Todd. I was trying to call him this morning, and so is that back up now?
I don't believe it is. But let me ask you something. Why were you trying to call me
Yeah,
this
maybe
morning?
call in sick.
I think Todd was ignoring you.
Why were you trying to call me this morning?
Because truthfully,
Oh God, what?
Careful.
no. Because I was coming from Manitowoc.
Yeah.
And I was going to tell you, hey, it's like unbelievably foggy and yada, yada, yada.
Right.
But then I was also going to tell you my phone's not. This could sound crazy. I was calling Todd to tell him my phone wasn't working.
So in case you need to get a hold of them.
That's okay, guys. That's like working at a radio station, and let's say the station's off the air, right?
Yeah,
And
yeah.
then people call and say, "Are you off the air?" Yes, we are.
Yeah.
Well, you should tell us on the air that you're
Yeah,
off the air.
I know.
That's funny.
Just like the TV does with the
That's
screen.
right. That's right.
I did that one time. Okay, back in the day, people don't even believe this, but there was a time when the NBA Finals weren't televised. They were tape delayed.
Oh my goodness.
Yes, and remember the classic game Lakers against the Philadelphia when Kareem was out, Magic Johnson had to play center, and they won. They won the championship.
Sure.
We didn't televise it live. I was working in Tucson, Arizona, okay? So what I'd have to do was I was doing sports. I'd say, okay, folks, and we'd say, look away, and then we'll put up the score. That's what we would do. But here's what I did stupidly.
Sure.
This is true story. I got
Sure.
so much grief for that. I said, okay, folks, I'm going to turn down your TVs. I'm going to say the score. Everybody ready? I'm going to say the score. Turn down your TVs. And I said the score, and they go, okay, you can turn them back up.
Yeah. That's funny.
Honest to God.
That's funny.
But that just goes
So
to
yeah, I
prove
tried calling Todd to tell him my phone wasn't working.
your mentality in life is
Yeah,
just
it's
you're there, but you're not quite there.
You're not. Yeah. You're
Right
not.
on the edge.
Yeah,
That's
yeah,
right.
yeah.
That's right.
Right
Yeah.
there. Yeah.
Living on the
Yeah.
edge.
You're not all there. So,
You're your own little bubble.
Oh,
Yeah.
bubble.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yep.
Thank you,
Absolutely.
Todd. So tell us more about this time of year, what you guys got going, how the business is, interest rates. I know you hate talking about that. Everybody does, but it's always out there. So
And-
you're here.
And
So
I got
we're
a
gonna
question.
ask.
I just want to say one more thing on the
Yeah.
on the listing of your home, just this decluttering. And
Oh, gosh, yeah.
And I just want to say I work, at a homeless shelter, and we get a lot of stuff, and I think that's okay. I think a lot of people do spring cleaning, but
Yep.
I just think it's critically important if you're showing your house, because nothing turns me off more than
Yeah.
Oh, definitely.
Well, and from start to finish, I mean, not only does it look better in photos, but buyers, when they're walking through and they have that just clean, fresh feel, and it feels like they can be in that space because it's not consuming them with your stuff. They just, from start to finish, getting some of that stuff cleaned up off of your floors is a big thing. So if you've got a lot of stuff sitting on your floors, look at your floors. If there's boxes, if there's things that don't need to be there, put them somewhere else.
I'm shocked sometimes when realtors will post pictures with
Clutter.
Yeah.
I mean, bats.
Yeah.
I mean,
I hear ya.
or dirty dishes on the. What?
Yeah.
In defense, a lot of times that's rentals. You have to step into some of these rentals with.
Yeah,
And
that's
sometimes they don't want to see it sold.
Yeah,
The
they don't want it
renters.
sold.
Yeah.
They've got it good. Where
I had one
it
where
is.
one of the kids wouldn't leave his bedroom. He was in bed.
Yeah.
Oh,
And he
sure.
wouldn't and people needed to see the bed. He would not get out
Yeah.
of his bed.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Doors
yeah.
that are locked.
Yeah.
It's like, oh, what's in there?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's crazy.
Yeah, but
Yeah.
it is. It's one of those things, decluttering and making sure, this time of year, we're just talking about how beautiful the landscape is making sure that things are cut, your weeds are pulled. It makes a huge difference.
And if you want the window washer, we
Yeah.
had a guy on. He's a young entrepreneur.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And that's what he does. He just washes one
Yeah.
man band.
Yeah.
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 But what a difference that makes.
Oh,
huge.
huge.
Make sure there's not any little trees growing in your gutters,
Oh yeah.
He does that too. He
Yeah.
cleans
Yeah,
gutters.
to clear out the gutters.
Yeah.
He does all that.
That in
Yeah.
itself, they haven't even gotten into your home, and if you
Oh, they'll
haven't,
judge it. Oh,
yeah,
yeah.
No
they
question.
already know what your home is going to look like on the
And to the
inside
point they
based on
might
the
not
outside.
go see it.
Yeah,
Right.
Yeah.
A lot
Yeah.
of buyers do the drive-by, especially when they get really tired. If they've been out there for a while and they haven't, been able to complete a sale, whether they've
Buyer fatigue.
Yeah, they get kind of that buyer fatigue. They're going to drive by, and if you haven't kept up the outside of your home, they assume the inside is going to be the same, and they may not even come.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
What would you, I
Don't
got
blame
into
him.
it with a guy one time. I was doing a open house. I was hoping open house. And it was a bit like a Saturday, and a lot of people were coming through. And a guy comes through, and he didn't have shoes on. And I kicked him out. Would you allow a guy without shoes on to come
Was
into
there
a house?
bare feet or was
Bare
socks?
feet.
Bare feet.
Bare feet.
And he wouldn't put on booties.
Oh, okay. Dude,
Yeah.
I would say, can I see the bottom of your feet? If they were clean, I'd be like, yeah, it's
I
fine.
told him to leave.
It's fine.
And we
Did
got
you?
into it a little bit.
Sure.
What would you do?
I'd make him wear the boots.
I think
Hey,
I'd
yeah.
take a photo and
Yeah.
post it. No, I'm
yeah.
just kidding.
Yeah. No, I'd just check his feet.
Okay.
I'd be like, your feet fine. I just let him walk through.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
All right.
If
You
it
know
were
what?
me,
It
if it
kind
were
of
me.
in- yeah.
But everybody's got people got things about feet.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know?
But a lot of times when you have to take your shoes off, especially in the summer,
Right.
people have
Yeah,
flip-flops
people have.
on. And,
Right.
you
Oh,
know,
yeah. Absolutely. That's
I
what it
don't know.
was. But he
Definitely.
was, yeah. Okay. I didn't
Sure.
know.
I know.
Sure.
I rarely get into it with anyone at an open
Yeah.
house, though.
Yeah.
Oh, I've got into it several times.
Maybe that's why you're
Breaking
not.
news.
Maybe that's why you're back on the radio.
Right.
Maybe that's why the career didn't exactly blossom.
Yeah. We
Good
do,
point.
though. I mean, one thing that we do, and I think both Ben and I, when you
Okay,
have,
can I just say something?
Yeah.
Another one of the ones? The little kid wanted to bring a popsicle into the...
yeah.
Yeah, that's
Okay,
a
and I
no-go.
told, hey,
Yeah.
no, and the parents
Yeah.
like, oh, really?
Yeah.
They're
Yeah, really.
careful.
I was just gonna
It's like,
say, I do round
it's
up
my
people's
kid.
kids sometimes,
Oh,
because
yeah.
they jump on the furniture,
Absolutely.
and sometimes the parents are busy, so I just you kind of just nicely get them involved in something else.
Okay, one other one is that house I'm telling you about on last hour. They had a beautiful pool. Okay.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
So parents are looking around. The kids down there running. 2 kids are running alongside. I had to go outside and watch the kids.
Sure.
Yeah.
Sure.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I know. We are kind of babysitters sometimes.
Yeah, right?
The other thing that we really watch too is people who come in with, it's kind of the old store thing with big bags. If people live in that home, you've got to do your due diligence in making sure that everyone who comes through an open house is there because they actually want to see the house and not see what the stuff is. So there are times that we stay very close to some of the people that come in, and that's why we like to do like 2 people in an open house. So you've got one there greeting people and giving them the rundown, and the other one just kind of with
I
them.
had a young couple one time. I'm 100% certain they came in to go into the bathrooms to look for meds. To look
Oh,
for,
absolutely.
no question.
That happens more than you know.
Isn't that something? I mean, open houses, you got to be kind of...
Oh.
Yeah.
Yeah.
100%.
Give yourselves a plug. How do we find you?
Oh, give us a call, 920-495-7653.
And tell them where you're located.
Yeah, we're located.
Beautiful building.
I'll give you the address too. 1238 Main Street, Suite 21.
It's a beautiful old original building.
Oh, it is. We love it.
Ben and Deanna Milk.
The national news cycle never stops, but it can be hard to find news about your local community. Civic Media is dedicated to providing quality local and state news coverage across Wisconsin. With the Civic Media app, you can get notifications about local stories that matter to you and your community. Find the free Civic Media app in your phone's app store and choose notifications from the menu to tell us what kind of news you want to hear about.